What is going on, guys? Christian from the Lay and Pray MMA podcast, as always, joined by Jeffrey and Trenton. What's going on, guys?
What's good?
If you're listening to us on Anchor or any of our other podcast platforms, whether it's Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Pocket Casts, or Radio Public, thank you for tuning in. Make sure to hit that follow button or subscribe button and check out our other episodes. This is going to be episode 5 of our channel, which is crazy that we've already put out 5 episodes at this point. And if you're listening to us or watching us on YouTube, thank you for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button. Make sure to share away and hit that bell so you're notified when we put out new episodes. We are trying to put out 1 or 2 episodes a week, just based on when we're available. Other than that, I mean, I'm back to work, and Jeffrey, you're busy with the move, and Trent, you're busy with kids, and Jeffrey, You're busy with kids. So yeah,
busy lifestyle,
super busy. But anyways, today's episode, we're basically going to be talking about this upcoming fight night between Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov. It's just like we had previously talked about on the preliminary card. I don't really know anybody that's on this card on the preliminaries. So we're probably just going to – oh, no, Yancy Medeiros is there.
Did they switch some of the main card and the prelims around?
I'm looking at prelims, and the first card on the prelims is Yancy Medeiros versus Damir Hadzovic.
So I think they changed it from last week. I thought Danilo Marquez and Kennedy were on the main card last week.
Things might have – it just changes. Things might have dropped and,
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
So you guys are going to be able to watch the fights when they're going on. Whether you do or not, I'm not entirely sure if you will. I won't be able to. Saturday, I actually am working a 16-hour shift. So I'm not going to be able to watch the fights until later, probably before we put out our recap episode. So just getting started in with the main card, because that's really what we're going to be making our picks on. Just to recap, last week, Jeffrey and I were 3-3 on our picks. Trent was 2-4.
Oh, again.
And then Jeffrey and I are both 10-6 on our picks since UFC 263, and Trenton's 5-11. So if you guys are picking with Trenton, you're picking wrong. Just saying. If you're picking with Jeffrey and I'm
making that ground back up, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of hard to go. You went 3-7 week 1, and there was only
that was
6.
a bad week.
So, I mean, I'm just saying. Kicking things off, Renato Moicano versus Jai Herbert. What are your guys' thoughts on this fight?
I don't know.
Here's another thing. Renato Moicano is going up to lightweight. He was fighting at featherweight before, so maybe this change will help elevate his performance.
Dude, he's fought some bad motherfuckers that you don't even realize, like Jeremy Stevens, Brian Ortega, Calvin Cutter, Cub Swanson. Like, bro, those dudes are bangers.
Sung Jung, Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, so this is not his debut at lightweight.
He's fought some dudes.
He's fought twice at lightweight so far. See, I didn't realize that he had gone up to lightweight already.
I still think he's like unproven at lightweight, though. You know what I mean? Like, that's not his primary weight class or anything like that. So hopefully he's doing things right now, and he can make another make a statement here for the lightweight division. I don't know very much about Jai Herbert.
He's the guy. So do you remember on Fight Island when Francisco Trinaldo knocked him out, and then Dan Hardy was like, the fight's over, and he was going ape shit on Herb Dean. And he's like, that's second time tonight. That's the second time.
What ruined Dan Hardy's career for the UFC?
Yeah, that's what got him. That's what got him kicked out, essentially. Other than apparently harassing one of the workers or something.
Okay, so If we're gonna go with picks already, I think I'm gonna go with Moicano. I think
I agree.
I'm gonna give him a shot here at lightweight. Hopefully, it helps him and he improve. Hopefully it's a better weight class for him. Put it that way.
Hey, and resumes aren't even really comparable.
No,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Renato Moicano has you look at
yeah.
who he's fought just in the last 3 years, going back to 2018. Like you said, he fought Cub Swanson, he fought Calvin Kattar, beat them both, by the way. 2019, he fought twice and lost both times to
he beat
Jose
Stevens,
Aldo
I
and
think.
Chang Sung Jung. I think in 2017 he beat Jeremy Stevens.
Yeah, dude, this guy's a fucking gangster, man.
You look at who he's fought. If he was like in the featherweight division, these are the elite in the top.
Yeah.
The only guy that he hasn't really fought is Max Holloway.
Yeah, and I even like me, I had to look back and like watch this and be like, oh, okay, I know who this guy is. You know what I mean? Like, because if you just tell me the name, I'm like, I don't remember that guy. And then you look at his fights, you're like, holy fuck, dude. Yeah. This guy's legit. I do know who he is. He's good.
He's
had some tough losses. That's just
But yeah, you look at
people.
tough fighters. Jose Aldo when he was still at featherweight. T City, that was when he was undefeated before he fought Max. Yeah. He also lost to Chang Sung Jung, but that's because Chang Sung Jung I think that was a fight in Korea too.
Okay.
Or Singapore or something like that. Somewhere in Asia. So, I'm gonna go Renato Moicano. I'm honestly thinking it's gonna be a finish. So,
okay, I would agree with that. I think,
and who knows, maybe he'll be able to put together a good string of wins in the lightweight division. Usually, obviously, guys that go up usually tend to perform better. You look at Dustin Poirier; he's living proof of a featherweight that went to lightweight and just was able to put some good wins together. So, at welterweight, the second weight. So, are we all in agreement? Renato Moicano?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next, Tim Means versus Nicholas Dalby. Who do you guys got in that one? It's at welterweight. Both old guys. Holy shit.
Yeah, this is another one where I think last week when I was looking at the fight card, this was on the prelims, and now it's on the main card.
Mm-hmm.
I think this one's a tough one for me because, Tim Means did beat the hell's his name? Mike Perry.
Mm-hmm.
But Perry hasn't looked good in some time.
No.
So it's kind of hard to judge.
How fucking dare you, dude?
It's hard to judge a performance on that with an unprepared and not a guy that's not taking the sport very seriously.
Yeah.
In Mike Perry. So it's hard to judge his performance against a guy like that right now. But with that being said, he's been in tough fights, and I think he has the guts and the grit to win this fight.
So you're going Tim Means.
I'm gonna go with Tim Means.
So if we're doing MMA math here,
dude, don't do it.
He lost to the guy that the guy
Tim
just
Means
beat last.
Tim Means got submitted by Daniel Rodriguez, and Daniel Rodriguez got beat by Nicholas Dalby. So right. I'm going Nicholas Dalby strictly because of MMA math.
MMA math, baby. Let's bring it up.
Hey,
it's trends.
just the same.
Hashtag MMA math.
Okay.
That's what I'm going with.
So
and
I'm
also
going against you guys on this.
I'm going with the younger guy by 1 year, Nicholas Dalby. And also when you look at fights, man. Tim Means has a lot of fights, but if you look at Nicholas Dalby, there's like a 3-year break in action where I don't know if it was injuries or.
So he just said that he kind of felt like he didn't want to fight anymore. Mm-hmm. And then now he said that he has his desire back, like he rekindled his joy to fight or whatnot. And if that's true, like if coming to that realization can probably be a powerful thing, to realize like, dude, I fucking taken everything for granted or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like, this is what I do.
Yeah.
And like, it's a dream, So like, sometimes I think that can have a good effect. I think Dalby's got this. Like,
so do I.
I think it's going to be pretty decisive. I think it stops him.
I cannot believe that Tim Means beat Mike Perry, dude. Like,
It wasn't
what
a
the
pretty
fuck,
fight either.
dude? I know, but it's
It wasn't a pretty
still
fight.
it's the premise of things, dude. It's just like, what, man? Come on.
Yeah. This will be stopped in the second round, probably.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be shocked.
Next, so 2 for Dolby, 1 for Means.
Correct.
Everybody vote against Trenton because it's proven that Jeffrey and I know what we're talking about, and Trenton is going off of a name that he knows.
It's
He's
true.
like,
I did go off a name on that one pretty much, but I have watched Tim Means fights, and he does have some grit, and like I'll give him props for that.
Yeah. Next up, Andre Touchy-Feely versus Daniel Pineda. Daniel Pineda is coming off of a KO loss to Cub Swanson, so no slouch there. Obviously, Cubs, he's a staple in that featherweight division, has been for years since WEC.
Yeah.
Since WEC, he's been a staple in that division. Before that, though, came off a great performance against Gilbert Burns' brother, Herbert Burns, where he got a TKO win against him. Yeah, so what are your guys' thoughts on this one? Who you guys going with?
Go ahead, Trin.
I'm gonna go with Andre Touchy-Feely.
Okay.
He's not really the local boy, but he's close to home over here. I gotta support that. And he is hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
But when he's on, he looks really good when he's on, and I'm hoping that he comes back to form here.
He hasn't fought since Halloween of last year, and he lost to Bryce Mitchell. So
who's a tough guy and making a contender run for himself,
Yeah, for sure. He's also lost to Sadiq Youssef recently, just within the last calendar year. Which is he's no slouch in the featherweight division either.
He's going to have the sizable reach and height advantage, I believe, as well.
I think he's an all-around better fighter than Daniel Pineda. So I'm going with Andre Feely as well.
Oh, come on, guys.
I hate that we have to do this, but so am I.
If we're all wrong, I'll feel good though. If he loses,
if you guys are all wrong, you'll just blame me.
I think he went
fucking A right, dog.
I think he's like 3-3 in his last 6 fights. And Trent, you're right, dude. If he could just find some form of and put it together, a little bit for consecutive, for consecutive fights, you would hear his name a lot more because he's a fucking banger, dude. Mm-hmm. He'll fucking throw some bombs.
He's always entertaining. His fights are exciting as shit. That dude comes to fight.
The thing that drives me nuts the most about him though is his fucking gauges, dude, and his taped ears. God,
I have gauges as well, but his are huge.
His are just hang. They hang and they need to get taped. And it's so frustrating to watch because it's so fun to watch him fight, and then they do corner cam for in between rounds. I'm like, God damn your ears.
You just got loose butthole ears on him.
But no, he's also been in some fights where some decisions I feel like he has gotten screwed out of some decisions.
Yeah.
But also that's another reason why you don't let it go to decision. Like I think the Sadiq Youssef fight is one of those fights where I feel like he did enough to win. I'll have to go back and rewatch the fight, but I'm pretty sure he won that fight, but it was a split decision loss.
Dude, in 5 episodes, I've learned something about Chris. He disagrees with judges a lot. Like I do. There's been like 5 instances that we start talking about something. He's like, I had my head on that fight card. I think you won. Yeah. I'm like, damn, dude.
Or like, rounds that were won that.
But how many times have I been wrong? How many times have I been wrong?
It's subjective.
No, you're absolutely right. It is subjective. Me personally, though, if I were a judge, I would never get a fight wrong. Nope. No way. I'm perfect, baby.
Yeah. Yeah. No, dude.
I'm sure they don't think they got him wrong either. They're like, oh, yeah, that guy clearly won. What are you talking about? He was damn near KO'd. Like, what the fuck?
But, no, but I can't remember if it was the Sadiq Yusuf fight or the Andre in. Yeah, for some reason I want to say it was the Sadiq Yusuf fight that he did go to a split decision, and I felt like he did win the fight, but it was just very close.
Was that Bryce Mitchell fight a decision as well, or was that
That was a decision?
It was a decision.
Okay, and that's
but I'm pretty sure Bryce Mitchell just did. He controlled that fight.
Yeah.
So that one.
I'm just saying that's still a good like barometer of where he's at. Basically, still, he survived. He didn't get finished by Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah, and a twister or some other submission. So
most
likely
it's not like he can't hang with those guys. You know what I mean? His talent is still there. He's just got to get a little consistency with his game. Yeah. And like I said, when he's on, he looks really damn good. He put on some performances against some dudes that like it looked like he was going to be like a future champ or something. And then, and then a couple setbacks come in and it just doesn't work out that way.
For sure. Yeah. So we're all going Andre Touchy-Feely here.
Plus that nickname's pretty cool.
So I'm just we'll go into the next fight. Leone Barcelos versus Timur Valiev. Oh God, I don't even know who. Like,
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, please do. Because I looked at so far who they fought, and Leone's only fought one other time in the UFC. It was a win, and it was a decision. Meanwhile, and he's 34. Timur's 31, and I think he has 3 fights, or this is going to be his 3rd fight. So, God, yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, man.
I'm going to take Valiev. I think he's pretty well-rounded, dude. He's like in the Dagestan fight team and shit, and those guys are savage with their ground game.
Yeah.
So if it goes to the ground, he's good, and he trains with Gracie. So it's not like he's not versed in the ground game on his back neither, which I really fucking like. Mm-hmm. And he's willing to exchange. So I feel like he's better suited for anywhere like this fight goes. I don't feel like homie can fucking exploit any really area of his game,
Yeah.
So I think he takes it.
Okay. What are your thoughts?
Do you guys know if Valiev is on the same team as the Nurmagomedov that he beat 2 fights ago, that Barcelos fought 2 fights ago?
I have no
on the same fight team. Okay, I was gonna say this might be like a nice little
payback,
like motivated fight for Valiev, because he possibly beat his teammate Nurmagomedov. I think is that Khabib's cousin or something? I thought
just because they have the last name Nurmagomedov, I don't know.
I know.
I want to say sure.
I thought it was. But
if it's Khabib's cousin, he probably wouldn't have beat him. Khabib's whole family is they're all just absolute beasts. They're all undefeated. They all smash. True.
There's probably no relation whatsoever.
They all smash.
Same last name.
So
this isn't his first fight in the UFC. Never mind.
It looks like he has 3 that I could see.
Yeah, but yeah, okay. Go ahead. Sorry.
I was just going back and looking, trying to see like a good storyline for this fight, because they both have pretty decent records. I think Barcelos only has 1 loss, and Valiev only has 2. This is a tough one for me, because I think Barcelos has the more knockout power. I think I'm going to go with him on this one.
I'm going Barcelos too. Okay. I'm agreeing with Trenton. Fuck me. What the fuck is going on here? Yeah, just looking at his record, there was just nothing listed on Google. I had to actually get on SureDog and find his record and actually see. He has a good balance between knockout, submissions, and decisions. I mean, so for me, I'm going to go with him, even though he's the older fighter by 3 years. They're basically identical in their, like, besides their age and a 1-inch difference in height. They both have the same reach. They both usually weigh in at, 135, 136. They're both bantamweights. So, I'm going to go with Barcelos as well.
Yeah. Also, it looks like Barcelos hasn't lost a fight in like 4 years.
It's been a long time.
So I mean, that says something too.
I think the biggest thing is you look at who he's fought. He hasn't fought, guys in the top 10 or even top 15, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I mean, if he's the third fight, before the main event, the UFC doesn't just put anybody up in those spots.
Yeah.
No,
so
it's usually somebody excited. They're exciting
or guys that they want to help build up.
Yeah, propel into the top
for this
15.
guy, he's 34 years old. His prime is coming to an end.
Yeah.
So
I feel like this is the fight of the night right here.
His last fight was the fight of the night. His last fight was the fight of the night.
I think this is the fight. No, I'm saying I think for this one will be fight of the night.
I think Andre Fili versus Daniel Pineda is going to be fight of the night.
That's what I was going to say. I was going to say, like, it's either this fight or the Andre Fili fight, probably.
Fuck you with agreeing with me, Trenton. I can't believe it. Man. I'm agreeing with you and you're agreeing with me. I don't, dude. Jeffrey's about to blow. Jeffrey is about to blow me out of the water with fight picks this go round.
Uh-oh.
All right. So next up in the co-main, we've got Tanner Boser versus Ovince St. Preux. I was going to go with Tanner Boser until I looked and I forgot he lost to Andre Arlovsky recently, and that
fight was boring too.
I know that is not good, and it's not like, oh yeah, I had a bad night, bro. You lost to Andre Arlovsky
at the very tail end of his damn career.
Yeah,
man. Like,
and you lost to Alir Latifi, who's a 205 pounder who looks like he's ingested so much goddamn creatine and he's bloated. He is massive. Alir Latifi is huge at heavyweight.
That dude is a big boy.
Yeah. Like he was big at 205.
Yeah. He's
even bigger at
heavyweight. But, he lost to him, and this is another 205er moving up the heavyweight again, and it's could be the same story.
I will say this though, if he loses, it's going to be by decision because you look at he fought Cyril Gane, lost. He fought lost by decision. He fought Alir Latifi, lost by decision. Lost to Andre by decision.
St. Preux does have some pop in his left hand.
Yeah, and his head kick. But there's a difference between a guy who's depleted himself to get to 205 compared to a guy who doesn't have to cut. Yeah, that Von Flue or the St. Preux.
Yeah,
the St. Preux Von Flue. Yeah, I don't think I don't think he's going to get a submission on him either. I don't think it's going to be a finish. I think it's going to be a decision, and I hope to God it's better than his fight with Arlovsky, because you're putting a co-main event spot on a fight night. So,
yeah, this fight for me is a tough pick, mostly because it's
St. Preux's hit or miss too.
Yeah, he's hit or miss. I've already seen him at heavyweight against Ben
Rothwell.
Ben Rothwell, yeah, and I'm a huge fan of Ben Rothwell. So in that fight, I was worried for Ben, and he looked good. He did his thing, and it's just I don't know. It's Ovince St. Preux is another one of those guys that are inconsistent as shit, dude. When he looks good, he looks good. And he'll starch a dude or finish him. He rarely goes out there and like tries to go, like he barely goes out there and wins the decision. If it goes to decision, he probably loses that fight.
Yeah.
He usually finishes somebody or he gets beat. And that's just a hard pick. But Boser is inconsistent as well. You get a bad fight with Andre Arlovsky, you lose to Latifi. Like, I don't know, man. I like his fighting style for the most part. He moves well. He doesn't really sit back as a heavyweight and trade punches. He tries to be like lateral movement and stuff like that. He moves well for a heavyweight. I just don't think he's. I want to go with. I think I'm going to go with St. Preux on this one.
Yeah.
I think this is do or die for Boser. I think he has to win this one. But I think that's too much pressure. And I think he loses to Ovince St. Preux. St. Preux has been a staple in the UFC for a while as well. Just not in this weight class, but
yeah.
I think that in this, where they're at in their careers, Boser has to beat St. Preux.
Mm-hmm.
And St. Preux, man, look, I'm going to go with St. Preux because he has fought John Jones and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let's not.
He's fought tough guys in the
Shogun,
where he was at,
fucking, yeah.
where
Corey
he was
Anderson, Jamal
and
Hill.
now he's got a Bozer. I know that St. Preux is very hit or miss, but he'll find a way to finish this. I do think he'll finish it.
So I literally was on the St. Preux train until I just looked and saw that he's been training with Francis Ngannou, and he said he has no intention of staying at heavyweight after this fight because he's been training at Extreme Couture with Francis Ngannou. That's a big enough reasoning for me to be like, okay, well then it sounds like you're already checked out of, this. It doesn't even sound like you want to. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to fight Francis, and I don't blame him. Who the fuck does?
Yeah, I know.
Besides Derek Lewis, but
yeah, I just think that what else is he gonna say? That's his new teammate or whatever. Like he has to say that. Right?
I think
like,
it's because he doesn't want to fight Francis Ngannou.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Even to keep nobody wants to. Remember when they asked DC, they're like, "Hey, you ever think about coming back and fighting?" He's like, "Yeah, fuck you, man. I ain't fighting that dude."
He's like,
Yeah.
Have you seen that bitch? He's fucking. I'm never fighting that guy.
Yeah.
So, but I wouldn't stay there either, man. I don't think.
I don't think he belongs at
this point. Look, I think that OSP knows that these are cash. This is at the end of his career, cash padding. Just putting it in the bank, rainy day funds. And if that's the case, if he wants to do that, best way to do that is with fucking a good fight,
Boys,
against nobody. So
can't believe I'm doing this. I talked all this shit about Tanner Boser, and I'm picking Tanner Boser. Dude, I'm going Tanner Boser.
He can't agree with me. That's where it's at. So.
It's not just that. We've agreed on some things.
It's the Trenton effect, dude.
Yeah. It's the fact that I can't agree with you more than twice in the same episode, and I'm agreeing with you. This would be number 3. And that already, So
Is this the only one that you guys differed on?
No,
not yet.
What was the other one that we differed on? I don't remember.
I got Tim Means, you got Dalby.
Okay, yeah. There is another. Is there another one?
Touchy-feely, we all have him.
Yeah, we all had Moicano. We all had Touchy. We all had.
I've got Valiev. You guys got Barcelos.
Yeah, okay. I have Barcelos. So
okay.
Yeah, so
this is the second one.
Yeah.
All right. So you guys have Owen St. Preux, and I've got Tanner Boser.
Correct.
Even after all the shit that I just said about Tanner Boser losing to Andre Arlovsky and how I sound like a total fucking hypocrite. But at the same time, Tanner Boser, don't you fuck me. Got it? My fight picks depend on it. Right now, I'm neck and neck with Jeffrey, and this is a big change in pace. I could really pull ahead here by 2 or 3 fights, and I need it. So don't you fuck me.
All right. I knew this was a competition at the beginning, I would have.
Motherfucker, you're the one. You wanted it. You wanted Trenton.
Yeah, later I wanted it. I didn't know we were going to keep the old stats.
He was like, oh, well, let's make this interesting. I'm like, all right, let's do it then. And Jeffrey, I was like, I don't care who Jeffrey picks. As long as I stay ahead of Trenton, I don't care.
Well, it's not like it's going to be hard at this point. You guys bet.
It's only a 5-fight lead, dude. It's only a 5-fight lead.
Check really hard on
anything could happen. So this is what I'll say. On UFC 264, Poirier and McGregor, anything could happen because there's so many fights that are up in the air on that card that it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
So it could be one fight card and you could be right back in, because on that one, we could go to the preliminary card and we can make picks because we'll actually know these fighters, because Carlos Condit, Max Griffin, Nico Price, Michael Pereira. Well, we'll talk about Sean Brady and Kevin Lee in a bit, and Trevin Giles. That's the preliminary card. We can make picks on those ones.
Definitely.
So I guess the main event, where you've got Cyril Gane versus Alexander Volkov. Cyril Gane's coming off of a extremely boring fight against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. And then before that, he got a TKO of Junior Dos Santos before Junior Dos Santos went, out and left. got fired or released. And then Alexander Volkov's coming off of a win against Alistair Overeem before he got cut and released. But for me, I just think Alexander Volkov is, even if he's not the better striker, because I think Cyril Gane's he's a kickboxer, right?
I think so, yeah.
Kickboxer out of like France or something. Alexander Volkov's just been in there more frequent with more top of the line fighters. Like you look at him against Derek Lewis, he was winning that whole fight up until the last minute 45 seconds.
Here's my thing with this guy, right? It's like there's a lot of Volkov dick riding going on, right? And I'm not, and he's a bad dude, so I'm not saying that it's not deserved. But listen to these fucking fights. Listen to these. Timothy Johnson, Roy Nelson, Stefan Struve, Verdun, Derek Lewis, which he lost, Greg Hardy, Curtis Blades, Walt Harris, and Alistair Overeem. The two people that he beat Hardy but he lost to Blades, lost to Lewis. I'm just like, yeah, there's some names on there, but
Beat Fabricio Verdum.
Yeah.
And just so you know, Timothy Johnson's fighting for the interim Bellator heavyweight title.
I'm just saying, you know, like
some of those fights that you would want him to win, he lost.
Exactly
Basically what's going on. Like if you expect the hype on him or whatever, not the hype, but like everybody being like, hey, he's this talented. Some of those fights you would be like, well, he should have won those then if that's where we're going with this. But
yeah. So when going to pick, I'm gonna say Volkov because if he doesn't beat this fucking dude, people are gonna stop.
He struggled against you look at his biggest loss, he lost to Derek Lewis because he was, instead of playing it safe, he was still doing the same shit he was doing and he got caught. His fight against Curtis Blades, it's a wrestler who's like, Curtis Blades has some really dominant wins, but he also just has some losses that you're like, how?
Oh, he froze.
Frozen. Uh-oh. No, so anyway,
Am I still frozen?
No, you're back
good
now.
You're good.
Oh, sorry.
You're all good.
Sorry.
Just a little hiccup.
Yeah. I just got an update that said your internet connection is unstable. Like, what? So you look at some of his losses, and obviously it's like, you know, I understand losing to Derek Lewis, losing to Curtis Blades, but look at where they're at. Curtis Blades is like number 3. Derek Lewis is number 1 contender.
Yeah.
Number 3 or number 4 at least for Curtis Blades. So, and Volkov has got to be what, number 5 or number 6?
I think he's 5.
Yeah.
Where Cyril Gane's probably
Volkov is 5 and Gane is 3.
The reason, and I'm not, what's that?
He's 3rd.
Yeah, he's number 3 and Volkov is number 5.
How? He had a boring ass fight with Jairzinho Rosenstrike,
who was probably number 3 at the time.
Yeah, but that is another thing that the UFC rankings doesn't make sense.
Wait, what are these two ranked?
3 and 5. Gane is the higher ranked.
Yeah.
Because he beat Jairzinho Rosenstrike, who. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's neither here nor there, and that's not what we're talking about right now. The ranking system isn't what we're talking about, but it doesn't change the fact that I feel like Volkov should still win this fight.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like after all shitting on Volkov for all that time, I'm gonna pick him because he should win this fucking fight. If he doesn't, then that validates what obviously I'm not the only one thinking this way, or else the UFC would give him. I know that he's 3rd, but fuck, you know what I mean?
I'll be honest. Go ahead, Jeffrey. Finish.
I was just gonna say, if I was Volkov, I wouldn't even have accepted this fight because it's fucking dangerous. If I beat this dude, I should have beat him, and if I lose to him, it's like, well, fuck, man, you know.
Well, if you beat him, you go up the ladder because he's ranked 3rd. That's probably the only reason why he was like, fuck it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'll be honest. If I'm in the heavyweight division, I am not interested in fighting anybody named Francis Ngannou, who is the champion. There's the only person that I'm hoping John Jones beats Francis Ngannou. That's if I'm in the heavyweight division and John Jones realizes like, oh shit, this is like murderer's row. Like My career is going to get cut so short because everybody hits hard here.
I just don't think I would not love nothing more than that, but I don't think that would ever happen. I think John Jones would maybe not, maybe
I hope Francis Ngannou starts. I hope Francis
but
Ngannou
everybody
starts
else,
them.
dude, because it's Francis Ngannou and everybody else right now.
Yeah.
I think John Jones beats everybody else.
Me too.
Francis Ngannou, maybe.
That's exactly what I'm saying. John Jones runs through everybody.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think he'd run through Stipe. I don't think Stipe would win, but I don't think he'd run through Stipe. I think he would have a hard fight.
I'll even say this. I think John Jones smashes Ngannou.
I'd say John Jones smashes Derek Lewis and would probably submit him in the first minute because DC submitted Derek Lewis in like a round or second round, but towards the beginning of the second round.
You want to do some more MMA math here? I think John Jones would actually beat Stipe and make it look a lot easier than people think. DC starched him once. You know what I mean?
DC
starched him because he literally hit him perfectly on the button.
I think John Jones will beat everybody. I mean, I think he can go on the same run.
Yeah.
That he did in light heavyweight.
I don't.
Dude, he is so fucking athletic.
No, I know. He is my goat. He was
powerlifting and shit, dude.
Yeah.
He's big as shit now.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. He's so big.
Yeah.
And he's doing that again. Yeah. Boy, I wouldn't bet against him. I think he beats fucking everybody in that division.
Anyways, sorry. We went on a huge this is how it goes for us sometimes. So who are you picking? Are you picking Gane or are you picking Volkov? Trenton?
I'm confused about this one as well. I mean, I did not like that performance against Greg Hardy either.
No.
That was not a good performance by Volkov.
But he's had a performance since then that's been good.
I understand that, but I still did not like that performance, and that's not what you want to see from a number 5 ranked dude. And I'm not super impressed by Gane either yet. He did have that knockout with Junior Dos Santos.
Everybody's knocking Junior Dos Santos out.
Exactly, but I'm not sold on him yet. And everybody's got hype on him right now because he's undefeated, and he's a big dude, you know what I mean? But that doesn't always. He does seem to have the cardio to go for a while too, being that big, but he doesn't have the KO power that like Ngannou or Derek Lewis have either, or even Rosenstruck or anything like that. Like, he's a good fighter, but I don't know that I'm entirely sold on him yet. I think Volkov should win this fight. I think I'm going to go with Gane after saying everything, just because I haven't liked Volkov's last performances.
I thought he looked fantastic against Alistair Overeem. Like he did.
Alistair Overeem.
Like obviously Alistair Overeem isn't much better than JDS.
Dude's been flatlined probably more than anybody else in UFC history.
That's because he can't eat his horse meat.
I think that you could blow on Alistair Overeem's chin right now and he might go to sleep. I'm not exactly sure.
I hope not, because he's back in glory. He's in kickboxing again, so
out of his mind again.
Yeah, but he's already halfway to Overeem already.
Yeah. So I'm hoping maybe a little bit of testosterone, a little bit of steroids,
but how do you
horse meat or whatever can repair your chin too? Who knows?
In the grand scheme of things, so you look at Cyril Gane. His last performance against Jairzinho Rosenstruck, I wasn't impressed with that performance at all, and that was his last fight. Meanwhile, you look at the last 2 fights that Volkov had. He TKO'd Walt Harris, which obviously Walt Harris has had a lot of stuff going on with losing his daughter, and I just think he's not the same fighter anymore. Since that happened, it's just not the same.
It's a shame.
Yeah, big time. And then his performance against Alistair Overeem was a second round TKO, and it probably could have gotten stopped in the first round. And when you look at it, Alistair landed 10 strikes that whole fight. And 7 minutes, and Alexander Volkov put him away with 54 total strikes.
I just think Rosenstruck he's a dangerous fighter right now, and he made him. He nullified everything that he had and won that
It's
fight.
kind of like
was
like
boring
watching
fight,
Derek
but
Lewis versus
Francis.
Francis Ngannou.
Yeah,
I almost said
it was
Francisco
very
Ngannou.
boring. They both look pretty gun shy, but I mean, I think that Volkov is going to have that in the back of his mind that this guy might be able to KO him and put him out, and they're going to fight like a similar style again. I think it's going to be a boring, slow paced, careful fight for both fighters.
I think Volkov is going to come out, and I think he's going to put it on him.
I hope so. I'm not
Like,
gonna lie.
I mean, he's a
Volkov
much
should
taller
win this.
fighter, but
Yeah.
the reach is Volkov actually has a lower reach than Gane does.
Yeah.
But there's no reason why Volkov should not win this fight. Based on his last two performances, he can show, or he has shown, that he can be a top contender in this division.
Mhm.
He just has had a couple setbacks by not taking Derek Lewis serious throughout the entire fight. He was winning that whole fight. If you were to look at it, like, you don't look at the results and you were to look at all the fight statistics in total, you'd have been like, oh yeah, he won by unanimous decision.
Mhm.
But he just got caught in the last 30 seconds.
And that could happen to anybody when you're fighting Derek,
especially in the
Lewis.
heavyweights. Especially that could happen in any heavyweight fight.
Yeah.
So you've got Gane. Jeffrey and I have Volkov.
Like I said, Volkov should win this fight, I believe. I think Gane's gonna fight the safe fight. And if he does rock Volkov or put him in danger in any way, he's got 100% takedown defense, dude. Like, he's not going to be able to survive that, I don't think. Volkov won't be able to survive. Like, he won't be able to take him down to regain composure or anything like that. Like, if he gets caught, he gets caught, and that's going to be it for him. He's got 100% takedown rate, or takedown defense. So I hope that comes into play.
Yeah, that's the one thing about heavyweight is there's just so much uncertainty in the division. Like, you just never know what's going to happen.
I think Gane's still young in the game and getting better as well. Like, he hasn't been in the UFC for very long,
I just probably have an unpopular opinion about the heavyweight division, that it's just, even though some of my favorite fighters are there, it's just not that competitive.
No.
Like,
there's even with Derek Lewis, he's a fan favorite because of everything that he says. He's a funny guy. Like, I love Derek Lewis, and he has knockout power. But look at him. Like, if he gets taken down, if he gets taken down, he's got no ground game.
Yeah.
Like, he got submitted by DC.
And his cardio is getting better, but it's pretty fucking atrocious as well.
So, I mean, if he fights a wrestler that, look at what happened against, I mean, he was losing to Curtis Blades before Curtis Blades just did a half-ass shot and got caught.
That uppercut was nasty.
Yeah, that was Herb Dean's fault. But yeah, I agree. That division is not very competitive.
It's just, I think when you're that big, it's hard to find good training partners and shit like that. That also plays into it. You know what I mean? Like,
that's why I say just John Jones would run through it. Yeah. I know I don't want to get back on this. But that's what I was saying. Like, he could just do it just because he's so fucking athletic, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I hate to agree with you on that point because I think you guys know how I feel about John Jones, but yeah, it's true. I mean, skill-wise, he's still
leaps and bounds above all those guys.
He's my goat. He's my goat in terms of MMA. So,
I mean, he's undefeated, dude. Fuck that Matt Hamill loss.
Yeah. But the alleged 12-6 elbows, that never happened.
Yeah.
All right. So, Trenton, you're the one that's putting together tonight's order of business in terms of where we go from here. So what do you want to talk about next?
I don't really have a whole bunch of topics. There's one topic about like a couple other fighters joining in on the a lawsuit for the UFC, basically because they have like a monopoly on it. on they had like some kind of something in their contract, like a non-competing clause or something like that. So they're like, they held off on a lot of these fighters. Like CB Dalloway just joined, and another guy, I forget his name. They just basically joined in on the lawsuit, saying that like the UFC basically screwed them over, and they joined a long laundry list of other fighters that have been doing this for years now. And that's basically the next subject. I don't really know what to like talk about it really. It's just something to bring up for the podcast.
Well, I mean, just my 2 cents on it. We look at it as like, obviously there was a lot of guys like Nate Corey, TJ Dillashaw, and a slew of other guys that were part of wanting to start a union, like wanting to unionize the sport of MMA, which I think absolutely, you look at how dangerous that job is. There's no reason why they shouldn't have a retirement. There's no reason why they shouldn't be more protected as fighters.
Yeah,
in terms
like
of
John Fitch, Nate Corey.
Yeah. In terms of monopolizing or like what the UFC did, like absolutely, there's no doubt UFC put MMA on the map.
Yeah.
UFC is responsible for that.
Mhm.
There's no other company out there that can say that we are responsible for the success that MMA has had. It's UFC. But with that, there's been other companies like Strikeforce and WEC and Tap Out when they were a thing. Bellator is still around.
PFL now.
PFL one, M1 Global. Like there's a lot of different companies now. So what basically, here's my thoughts on it. Rory McDonald did something that's like, I honestly thought Rory McDonald was going to be the guy. He was the next GSP. He was going to stay true to Dana and the Fertitas and, stay with the UFC, because I was thinking his goal was, I'm going to go get that 170-pound belt.
Yeah. I thought he was going to retire in the UFC for sure. I never thought.
I mean, it doesn't mean that he still won't.
No, but I never thought he would leave.
Yeah, and I never thought he was going to leave. But here's what he did. He realized what he was worth, and he went to Bellator. And then,
as well.
And so did Gegard Mousasi. All these guys that realize, like, I'm not being respected, or I'm not given what I feel like I'm worth. And they took that risk and they left. Benson Henderson left. He won. Anthony Pettis, all these guys, these big name guys, left because they felt like they were worth more. Eddie Alvarez was another one.
I also think the lawsuit has something to do with like dragging out their contracts so that they couldn't leave. You know what I mean? Like some of these fighters signed like extensive contracts that were like, hey, you guys can't go over there because we have your rights basically, or whatever, to keep you here. I think that's where the lawsuit comes in, because maybe CB Dalloway would have went to fucking Bellator way earlier or something like that if he was allowed to, but he couldn't. He couldn't even talk to them. And
I could be alone by myself in this, but if you look at it, like, I get it when you're desperate for money and there's a contract that's in front of you and it's this guaranteed money. Like, here's a 6-fight deal. This
you
is what
signed that shit though.
Yeah, you are the one who made the decision to sign it. So
unless you're
gonna buy out your, like, that's the way it should be. Is like, okay, well, if you want to go so bad, then buy yourself out of the rest of this contract and give us back the money that you received. But you can't be upset that you signed a 6-fight deal. You did 3 fights on that deal, and then the UFC, you're like, no, I want to restructure my contract, and they're like, no, we're not going to restructure your contract. You're going to fight out the rest of this deal, or we're going
2 fights on that shit, and you're only getting paid fucking 12 to show or something.
Exactly.
That was the deal we signed.
Yeah. So at the same time, people. That's why you need to be winning your fights. If there's a more incentive for you to leave or get more money, then win your fights or fight out your 6-fight contract or 5-fight contract or whatever it is, or you really, in the grand scheme of things, like I'm for the fighters, but at the same time, I can't be for the fighters when you're bitching about a contract that you signed.
Yeah. What also like kind of irritates me as well as like, then be more active too. If you have 5 fights on your fucking contract and you want out,
Fight 4 times in a year.
Get out there and fight those fucking get out of those fights. Get
unless you're
get out. Yeah.
Injuries, that's understandable. Like I get that.
Yeah, unless there's injuries, which I think CB Dalloway was like
he was riddled with injuries.
Yeah. So I mean, it's hard
didn't
to blame him for
didn't
that
he
one,
fight like Ryzen or something recently?
I don't even know, to be honest with you. I haven't followed up on his career.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. The only thing that I would say is dude, I'm all for fighter everything, but I just want everybody to acknowledge that, and not everybody's going to get boxing money, right? Because that's not how boxing. It's not how boxing works. You know, you have your own fucking promoters and you're different this and under a Showtime agreement. Like, yo, the UFC is everything to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're your promoter. They're your fucking representation. They're everything to you. So it's like they're just different, man. You know, and if you like, I mean, I don't know how, if you want to get paid, and it sounds fucking ridiculous to even say because I do think they should get paid more. But like, yo, you got to come out and fucking bang and get those fights of the nights, or you got to come out and you got to fucking go on a run, you know, like take that shit serious, live that life, and you'll get there. You'll make that money.
Yeah.
You know, people are making millions of fucking dollars. I just
Look at
don't
Cowboy.
like
he hasn't won a fight in so long, and because he put on amazing performances and won fights of the
active.
night. Yeah, and he's active. But you look at it also, UFC is willing to pay him because the guy shows. The guy,
and
like,
he's a fan, and the fans love him.
Yeah, whether he wins or loses, everybody loves him. So
you know, and it's or create something. You know, like look what fucking Colby Covington did, dude. They were gonna cut his ass.
Yeah.
And he created this thing. Like, you got to create noise yourself. Like, if you want to make money, that's on you. You know, it's there. You just got to be that good.
He became the next Chael P. son and Uncle Chael. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I do wish the fighters got paid more. I do think they should have health insurance and all that fucking craziness.
I agree.
But paying fighters 20 million a card and this shit like John Jones is saying, and like,
sorry, dude.
I'm sorry, man. Sorry.
Well, this is where it's really frustrating. You would be nothing without the UFC.
Yeah.
Who the fuck would you be? Most of you would be country blumpkins out and fighting on reservations still.
Well, even if John Jones went to Bellator and started his career there, and he was the Bellator champ in UFC,
he wouldn't be making that much money.
It doesn't even mean that John Jones would be John Jones of today.
Yeah,
not that many people watch fucking Bellator, and I don't even know who their fucking 205 champ is. It Ryan Bader still?
No, Ryan Bader lost to some Russian dude, fucking stud. But Ryan Bader's the heavyweight champ.
Okay, but still, like that, like. I can't name all their fucking champs. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that I'm just a UFC dick rider. It's because they don't promote their cards that way. They don't have but like 4 big stars that I know of that I could fucking name you. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have that shit. Like, it's just the hype isn't there for that. So even, you know, the UFC has a big part to play on who these fighters are. And now they want all this crazy fucking money. And it's like, I understand that you guys deserve more, but don't go over your fucking head here and invite or like ask for the fucking millions when you're not even a champ, you know? Like,
same dude. I think the same shit. So nothing else to say.
Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. We're all for the fighters. We're like, I want everybody to get paid. Obviously, you guys are the ones that are going out and putting it all on the line. It's not Dana. It's not Hunter Campbell. It's not Joe Silva. It wasn't the Fertitas. It was like, I get it. But at the same time, you got to understand that you don't bite the hand that feeds you. And you are where you are because they sought you out. And look, the reason why Conor gets all these opportunities and he's the highest grossing, it's because he was willing to work with Dana. And then when the time came, he went to bat for himself, and it paid off.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, man, like be careful what you wish for, because you want all these, you don't want UFC to be the top and the only top dog, right?
Yeah.
But like this created like a minor league system, and you have all of these little organizations and all of these little fight companies and stuff that are creating these atmospheres for you to move up, you know? Like it's easy. I'm not saying it's easy. It's fucking easier to get found. If you win, you're gonna get found these days.
Yeah.
You know, and if the UFC goes down, or if they even out, now that you don't have big paydays.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Because the UFC is not selling like it was and shit. And now if all these fighters go to these other organizations and stuff, and now the competition's not that good, you're gonna have one dude over the entire weight division for 14 fucking years.
Yeah.
You know,
No matter. Yeah.
it's the big leagues, it's the fucking minor league system,
Yeah.
and it's been fucking good, dude. The pinnacle is the UFC. If you want to make money, become a fucking champion, dude.
Yeah, absolutely.
I agree.
Or be a champion, or even Connor, who's not champion. He's just a big enough draw because he's been champ. He's been a champ. He's been a double champ. He's he's done things that other people weren't willing to do. He's controversial. There's so many things that you can say. He sells fights. And I get it. People want to talk the talk. It comes natural to Connor. He doesn't even try. It's effortless. It's different. He is literally.
That's why it worked for him.
He's an anomaly. There's nobody else like Connor.
He's a legit businessman.
Yeah. So yeah, and those are my 2 cents on that.
And I think a lot of this stems from like people seeing Connor and people seeing Diaz, and Diaz telling fucking Leon Edwards, you know, he's like, hey, like don't tell him what you're worth, they'll tell them. You or whatever. Yeah. So like, you know, people see that and read those quotes and they're a fighter and they're like, hey, all right, that's how it works. I'm worth this fucking much money. And the UFC is like, nah, no, you ain't, dude. Like, I'll fucking have someone replace your card tomorrow. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah, but that's
you can't replace Diaz.
No, not him.
But another thing is you've also got but you've also got the Paul brothers that are stirring up controversy too. It's them saying you need to pay your fighters more, Dana, and all this other stuff. And then they're because people love Jake Paul and Logan Paul, they're like, yeah, Dana, yeah. And then you got Paulo Costa, who's like, I'm gonna go get this hair transplant. Don't worry about
all them young kids.
Yeah.
But the thing is, some of those fucking fighters can have that following if they fucking strive to have it. Yeah. Maybe not like Paul level, or because that's those again, we're talking about anomalies. Those fucking kids are anomalies.
Yeah.
I bet Derek Lewis's Instagram is killing it, dude.
But that's what I'm saying. Like these motherfuckers can do that kind of fucking thing too if they wanted to, and create their own fucking hype, dude. Like I'm not mad at Paul's for fucking making 100 million in a fight if you're selling 1 million pay-per-views. Like
Connor on his first fight in the UFC damn near sold out the arena. In his first fight, nobody knew who the fuck he was. I didn't know who he was, but his fans came from Ireland and fucking were there. And
that's because he was a double champ over in Cage Warriors, which is a huge organization in Europe.
Yeah, but you're telling me a double champ from a fucking organization that I didn't even know was a thing before Connor got there, and a fighter that's in the top 5 right now begging for more money. Like that guy in the top 5 should have more notoriety and fucking, you know what I mean? Like,
for sure,
you should have more fame.
It has to be a fucking perfect storm, but you at least got to fucking go out there and try and force that hand.
These dudes ain't promoting themselves the same way Connor did. Connor did it before he ever got there. You know what I mean?
And here's another thing that we need to keep in mind. The top guys that are making the money, they're not saying shit. No. Like in the grand scheme of things, the top guys that are actually making the big name money, like I guarantee you the reason why you're not hearing Derek Lewis say anything is even though he has a following, he is a guy, he's just trying to get that title shot, get the belt, be a funny guy, be a loving guy that everybody sees him as, but it's the guys that are at the top that they're the ones that are getting paid. So it doesn't really affect them nonetheless.
Well, dude, that even goes to like Diaz. Bro, you think Diaz hates Dana White? Ain't no fucking way, dude.
No.
They're fucking homies. 100%, dude. Because fucking Dana knows.
You guys think Dana went to that house party?
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Probably.
I'm waiting to see footage.
Yeah, probably.
But like, But you know what I mean? Like, there's no way that fucking dude's disgruntled. He talks like he ain't making shit all the time, dude.
Yeah.
That's just part of the. But
Selling
that's
you
again,
wolf
that's part.
tickets.
That's part of that mystique that he created for himself. You know, Dana
sure.
White don't hate that motherfucker, and Dana White
No.
would give that motherfucker almost any fight he wants, dude. So
Yeah,
when
clearly
Diaz
he gave him a top
Yeah.
3 welterweight.
Diaz
Exactly.
is
So-
damn near talking himself into Kamaru Usman right
I
now.
know.
He called him
I
out
know,
on
dude.
Twitter.
How
I
are we
know.
not talking? Why isn't that a talking point, Trenton? I completely forgot about that.
I didn't know I was setting up all the topic points. I just went and looked.
Oh,
I
man.
had one more topic. We could talk about that one, but I was just going to mention that on next week's or not next week,
No,
whatever
2
the
weeks from
260,
now,
264 that Kevin Lee pulled out of his fight against what was his name?
Sean Bradley.
Sean Bradley or Brady.
Is it Sean Bradley?
Sean Brady.
Sean Brady. Yeah.
Sean Brady.
Sean Bradley played in the NBA. Sorry.
Yeah, with his
Yes, he did.
he had a rib injury or something, and I was just gonna say that kind of disappoints me because I do like watching Kevin Lee fight. He's hit and miss as well.
And he's
but, like,
welterweight now.
Yeah, he was a big 155er. You know what I mean? He struggled to cut that weight numerous times.
He got a fucking staph infection against Tony Ferguson in their interim title fight.
He's had some bad luck and some bad times, but he looked good against Gillespie.
Oh, dude, that head kick.
Yeah, and he has moments of greatness too. There was times where I don't know if I'm the only one, but I thought he was going to be champ. You know, I was like, dude, this guy might beat Tony Ferguson and become champ right here.
There was a period in
out,
time where I thought that he was the most dangerous fucking dude in the UFC.
So
you know,
there's that. You know, that's why I'm just saying it's a bummer that happened. He's got a rib injury, and hopefully he recovers quickly. And it's nothing serious. Maybe like a bruised rib, not a fucking broken one. Or
this is my thoughts on it. He's coming off of double knee surgery.
Yeah.
He's had injuries in the past.
His best
and he is the guy that you look at and you're like, you know, what could have been had these injuries not happened. And that's the way I'm going to look at it. I feel like he's going to be that guy that's right there at the pinnacle and he just barely misses it because of injuries. But here's another thing. He got interviewed by the Schmo. Dude, I shout out the Schmo a lot. I like the Schmo. So, and I like his interviews. They're really good. He interviewed Kevin Lee and he was like, oh yeah, well, what were your thoughts about the fight with Kamaru Usman? And he's like, I'll be honest, I'm intrigued by fighting Usman, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, bro, Usman, I honestly think Usman would put it on him because Usman's just on another level.
And I think at this point in his career, still, even if let's just say fucking everything's aligned for Kevin Lee and he doesn't have all these bad injuries or whatever, he's still probably undersized to fight Kamaru Usman. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like he's not the size of Kamaru. Kamaru's fucking huge.
Bro, Kamaru's 205er in a 170-pound division.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, that you put that motherfucker next to like Paulo Costa, I bet Paulo Costa's
the same size as Izzy.
But that's about it. You know what I mean? Like they're fucking yoked, dude.
Izzy is 15 pounds heavier in terms of a weight division.
Yeah.
And he's the same size as him when they're like, you know,
chilling.
If they're just next to each other post fight, they're like the same size.
Yeah, when you see them when they're not like in the
not cutting weight.
Yeah, or like in the back of the UFC, you know, like before they walk out or anything like that. You see them next to each other and you're like, oh, those guys are in the same weight class. They could fight each other, but they're not.
No.
You know, like what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. So that's unfortunate for Kevin Lee, but at the same time, you know, there's no telling what's going to happen from here. If it's a bad enough, like if it's a rib injury, I feel like Kevin Lee's tough enough. If it was like a bruise or something, there's got to be like a punctured lung or like a broken rib or fractured rib, that something that's more serious than just a bruise, because he's a tough guy.
Yeah.
So I don't think, I mean, he fought Tony Ferguson with a fucking staph infection, dude. That's hard.
Yeah.
So
dude's got something bad had to have gone down to that rib because we've seen him fight injured before.
Or fight
compromised before. So
for sure. Yeah, and let's talk about this. Nate Diaz almost talking himself into a goddamn title fight because he said win or lose, I'm gonna
I'm
fight for
getting
the
a-
title next.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, yeah, whatever. Dude, I guarantee you, like the UFC would, Dana White would be like, it's what's best for business. Like,
guarantee
obviously,
you
I
that
want to see. Well, Colby Covington versus Kamaru is what's best for business, but I still would. I would be happy with Nate Diaz versus Kamaru.
I'll put money this
And
fight
I'll be
does
right back,
not
boys.
happen. I bet money that this fight does not happen, but I'll guarantee you that there's been some phone calls made and considerations of this fight happening.
Oh yeah, 100%, dude.
They're like, all right, well, so how would we play this? How do we do this one? You know, like, and I guarantee this fight might happen. Maybe Colby does get hurt or some shit. Guess who steps in? You know, the only problem I have with that is that's
what we were saying.
That's a huge slap in the face to Leon
Oh, yes.
Edwards, though.
That's what I was getting ready to say. Remember, we talked about this,
Yeah.
where there's a possibility that Leon Edwards could win that fight and still get the championship fucking shot opportunity after Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz, like that's. But dude, but again, that even like going back to that conversation that we just had, that's why you make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like if you're in that position, you created that your fucking self, you know? Like nobody created that for him. He did that shit.
Yeah.
So like if he gets an opportunity to go at the belt before Leon Edwards, who just beat him, I'm all down for it.
I mean, that'd be pretty shitty, but
yeah, that's what I said. I was telling Jeffrey when you left or whatever else. That's a huge fucking slap in the face to Leon Edwards, because I don't think this fight is gonna happen. Like, there's no way unless Colby Covington's injured, and then all of a sudden we're in talks here, because now there's arguments and hype. But that is a huge slap in the face to Leon Edwards. But that doesn't mean that the UFC doesn't be like, hey, check this out, man. Colby's out for a while because of his injury. Leon, we're gonna let Nate do this, but here's a money bag.
That's not gonna happen.
Just chill, you know.
That's not gonna happen.
Chill.
Because I guarantee you, if Leon Edwards doesn't get a title fight in the next two fights, he's bouncing.
I don't know if he can.
What
contract, maybe?
Yeah, but I guarantee you, he'll ask for his release and won't get paid the remainder of his contract.
I would fucking ask.
I would ask for my release if I didn't get. I would ask for my release if I wasn't getting my title shot. Yeah,
I'd be bouncing.
Yeah, and he's a big enough name. You could throw him in the 170 division in Bellator. He could fight MVP.
Oh,
He could fight Paul Daly. He could fight all those guys. Diego Lima or Douglas Lima. The guy that Douglas Lima just lost to, also, he lost his belt recently.
Fighting Rory and shit.
Yeah. Well, Rory's
he's in PFL now, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, there's just, oh man, I really, like I said, I'd be all for it, but at the same time, I really hope it doesn't happen, because I want Colby to get his just due. I want him to fight, and then I want Leon Edwards, because he's proven that he should get a title shot as well.
Leon's got my respect, dude. That dude,
he's got my respect too.
And I hate that they keep jumping over this man, because he's not flashy.
He's not a draw.
Super entertaining. I get it.
He's not a draw. That's the biggest thing. He's not a shit talker.
You know?
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying, is that he's earned it, and they need to give it to him. And you know what? If they don't think he's a draw and he's not going to win and all this shit, then just give it to him and get it over with. If he loses, push him to the back of the line. You know what I mean? But if he wins, y'all got a problem.
But look at it like this. If GSP were fighting in today's UFC, he wouldn't be relevant.
He'd be booed.
He would get booed, and then it'd be like, I'm not impressed by your performance.
He'd be booed. He just has a huge fan base regardless. I think a lot of fans today would think that he is a boring fighter, for sure. They'd be like, oh, it's just takedowns and he fights.
That's what everybody was saying towards the end of his career, when he got lost to Johnny Hendricks, but somehow won anyway.
I think a lot of that shit had to do with him leaving.
Absolutely. That's another. He's like, I'm in a dark place. The aliens, they come after me.
They come, they see me at night, Joe.
Yeah, look, it's on your shirt. It's proof. Yeah, so let's get Colby versus Kamaru. and then let's get Leon versus the winner of that.
And then give him Diaz.
Agreed.
No,
And then
No.
give him Diaz, dude. Fuck it. Dude,
Because
it's gotta be
there
the
was-
tail end of
there's-
Diaz's career
there's
too,
literally
man.
I
Let
would-
the motherfucker fight.
I
One big
would
money fight before he
love. I would
bounces.
love to see a fucking Covington Diaz fight though. Like
I would
think
love
it's
to
got- I
see
think
it.
it's
I would
gotta
love
be-
to see
I think it's gotta be.
I would just like to hear what Diaz has to say about Covington.
I just
Because
want,
I
just
guarantee
want
you,
that heat,
because he
dude. I
doesn't
just want it.
respect Colby at all, because Colby doesn't. He's a volume striker. He's just gonna out cardio you. He's gonna outwork you. He's gonna throw up like what he did against Robbie Lawler, where it's like, oh, he's gonna take his neck, but it's just like he's doing it just to apply pressure and make you uncomfortable.
Colby would wrestle fuck the shit out of Nate, I think. And I'm a Nate.
Yeah, except for
fan.
Nate's ground game's good.
It is very good.
Oh,
but
so
I
you're a
think-
wrestler now.
I'm saying
I
that.
just think
I'm
that's-
saying
that's- that
those.
would happen.
I'm saying that fight is very intriguing to me, and I think they should make it.
I wouldn't be mad at it.
Yeah. There's just right now the welterweight division. Kamaru. It's like he said. He's like, at this point, I'm just lapping guys, and he's not wrong. I feel like him going out to Denver and training with Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje and Rose and all of them. I feel like that was a huge boost because look at his striking and how dynamic his striking is now. He's
I think-
ghosts in my house, dude.
I think
Keeps closing our door.
Kamaru Usman's on a different level right now than anybody else in that division. I think that he's kind of got the John Jones thing going on. And I think at this point, the only thing that's going to catch up to Kamaru Usman is fucking age, like time. You know what I mean? Like I
You
feel
don't think
like
Colby can beat him?
I think Colby can, but
I don't think Colby's. I think it's going to be a decision. Their next fight's going to be a decision.
yeah, I think Colby can beat him, but I think that Kamaru. I mean, we already saw what happened in the first fight, and if they just make adjustments, and Kamaru sat down on some punches against Masvidal this time around,
Mhm.
if he does that to Colby Covington, he's in for a way shorter fight.
Yeah.
Like it's a possibility that he might never be the same again after a broken jaw, anyways.
That being said, he's only fought one time recently.
Yeah.
So, and it wasn't even all that recent. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It was against Tyron Woodley. And it was just out volume, out wrestle, out cardio. That was the entire game plan,
Yeah.
And I also think that if that was 5 years ago, Woodley, it would have been a different fight too. But
Yeah, but it wasn't.
yeah,
That's the biggest problem.
yeah.
Yeah. We've got, so we'll have we can talk about the fights, UFC 264.
I think we
Coming
save
up.
that for the next one.
Well, yeah, that's the next fight card after
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah.
But there's like a 1 week break. This is we're having a break in the action, but we could still get together and do something. I know that's going to be a little bit closer to the time that you're leaving, Jeffrey. So,
Yep.
basically you'll be gone by next week, right?
Yeah. I'll be out on the 30th, and then I probably won't have internet. You know how moving and shit goes.
I know. So if anything, we could take a 1 week break and then we can come back for UFC 264.
If he's here, we could do a duo setup right here.
Yeah,
he could,
for
he
sure.
could sit next to me and we could talk on
Yeah.
one if we need to.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely. I don't have anything else to add, guys. Do you guys have anything?
I
have
don't
nothing.
have. I have nothing, man. I got some active children out there to take care of.
Yeah. All right. So those of you that are listening to us on podcast platforms, as I listed before, make sure to check us out on YouTube at Lay and Pray MMA Podcast. Again, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to get all notifications when we post a new video. And if you're watching us on YouTube, then go ahead and check us out on our other podcasting platforms. That's it for me, guys. Thanks again.
So for me too.
Later,
All
dude.
you listeners out there, cross your fingers for my fight picks, eh?
Yeah, that's not, dude. I'm telling you right now, Jeffrey and I are gonna tie again.
Yeah, probably.
We're gonna be neck and neck because 2 weeks in a row, we went 7-3 the first week, and then we went 3-3 last week. So I'm guessing we're gonna go. How many fights were on this main card? Was it 6?
5 or 6? I don't even know.
Let's see. I think it's
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I
Okay,
think
6.
Jeffrey and I are gonna go 4-2.
Okay.
Yeah. Trenton will probably go like 2 and 4. something like that.
I'll go 3
Trenton-
for 3.
Yeah, probably.
Sweet.
That'll be your best week so far too. All right,
All right,
guys.
boys. I'm out.
Thanks again. Have a
Later,
good
dudes.
night. Appreciate
Yep.
you guys.
Later, dudes.
All right, bye.